welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers. I'm your host, Allie Clifton, not Christopher McGee. And joining me is our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan, and from Fox Sports, Melissa Rowland. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fabulous.
Yes.
Why? Because the break is almost here.
I know. You guys get a break.
Well, oh yeah, Allie and I are going to be enjoying ourselves. Melissa is working.
Going to Utah is not a break?
Going to Salt Lake City.
Hey, we talked about
Are you there 3 nights, 4 nights?
3 nights,
You stay
yes.
extra couple bonus nights, go a little skiing up there?
Could be fun. Yeah.
No, I think you're
Good
coming right
idea.
back.
I'm coming back to
You're coming right
60-degree
back.
weather.
Are your bosses watching? No, she'll be writing the entire weekend.
Yes, Melissa's working very hard. Sorry about that.
She does do that all the time. Good to see the both of you. Final show before the break. Let's dive in. The Lakers defeated the Pelicans 120-102 Wednesday night, and they did so in Showtime fashion. After missing 3 straight games, LeBron James was back in the lineup, contributing all around per usual. Team finished with 32 assists on 44 made shots, while shooting 53% from the field. Darvin Ham believes there is more to be seen with the Lakers' offensive potential. Darvin Ham changed things up with this one. Speaking of, starting Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and what a difference it made. LBJ, AD, and D'Lo combined for 70 points. LA got off to a great start, outscoring New Orleans 38-25 in the first quarter.
Sky's the limit. You know, we got a lot of playmakers with D'Lo. You know, Bees can get going, get hot. You know, Bron is who he is. AD, Vando just getting us extra possessions. And then, you know, Dennis coming out with that second crew with Rui and, you know, Austin and those guys, Troy. I mean, it's just, as long as we play the right way, you know, I was really happy to see the 32 assists. As long as we play the right way, share the ball, and stay disciplined in our running habits and, you know, really just not walking the ball up and down the floor, but getting out and running. There's going to be times where we have to play a little slower. But for the most part of the game, big chunks of the game, you know, we really need to maintain and be consistent at playing with some pace, playing fast. And, you know, we have some young athletic guys that can shoot threes, that can put it on the floor, create, and they can finish at the rim. So I think it's only going to get better.
We try to complement each other. We try to play the game the right way, you know, and not force anything. You know, we only had 10 turnovers. We had 32 assists and 10 turnovers. That is going to be winning basketball every single night if we give ourselves a chance to that. So I just like the way we played tonight. I liked our energy on the floor, both offensively, but more importantly, especially defensively, because if we want to be really good and accomplish what we're trying to accomplish, we have to defend at a high level.
So after what we saw last night with this squad, finally at full strength, what's the potential ceiling of this Lakers team? Melissa, I'll start with you.
Well, I think that's an interesting question. You get 6 new players, and they really gelled last night. They looked really good. It would be interesting, Allie, I wish this team was a team that had started out this season. Then I think this team really could make some noise in the playoffs. Now it's going to be an uphill battle just to make the play-in tournament. That being said, I think they could do it. They're only 2 games behind OKC for the 10th and final play-in spot, and they look good. There's a new energy about them. There's a new rhythm about them. The new guys look a lot more comfortable than I thought they'd look this early. LeBron is going to be LeBron. He only had to play 29 minutes last night, which was huge, and AD looked like MVP caliber AD again. So if we can get LeBron and AD playing excellent at the same time, and these new guys are being stars in their roles, this team could be good.
I mean, you look at it offensively, as we mentioned, the 32 assists with that first unit all together for the first time. But as a whole, the 32 assists, you talk about that ball moving, Brez, 70 points between those 3. I mean, looked good offensively for sure.
No doubt about it. You know, it's funny. Is D'Angelo part of the big 3? I mean, is it too early to say that? He obviously replaces Russ, who will be a Hall of Famer, obviously. But I like what I've seen from D'Angelo so far. It's weird to sound so optimistic about a team that is 13th in its conference going into the All-Star break. But I think we'd be remiss to say that, oh, they're out of it. You know, there's no way they're out of it. As you pointed out, very close to being into the play-in. And I'm cautiously optimistic. It's only been 1 game, so we have to be careful with that, too. We can't say, oh, yeah, they're going to finish 5th or 6th. You know, they're just going to go on a massive run over the final 23 games. Some people might think that if you're talking so good about a 13th place team, maybe you started your All-Star break a little early. Maybe you hit the wine tasting a little too early. But I am optimistic about what I saw last night. I think it's going to carry forward for a while here.
Melissa, you mentioned the 29 minutes for LeBron James. Obviously, we start there. That was a season low. And it's not just for this season, but in general, when it's going to be a successful team around LeBron, you need that balance. Do you think we see him at that range, that minutes range for the rest of the season, or is that just kind of a one-time thing?
I really hope so. I honestly was getting really worried when AD was out before all these new guys came in, just the load he was carrying. At age 38, I mean, he was playing back-to-backs on a regular basis, things guys a decade younger than him around the league weren't doing. He was just carrying so much of the load, averaging 35 points, 10 rebounds plus a night. He needed a break. Obviously, he's coming off of his ankle injury now. And I think what's funny is after he surpassed Kareem for the all-time scoring record, I'll never forget, he sat down in his chair and he turned to Mike Mancias, his longtime trainer, and he goes, now I can finally relax a little. And it was just this moment. In that moment, you really saw from him, it was palpable, like just the load he's been carrying. And so having these 6 new guys, having AD back, I think it really, really helps him.
Because something for so long that obviously the record is very prestigious and historic, but at the end of the day too, he's always been about winning. So you think about what he has been carrying all in all. Brez, 24 games to go. To get to the play-in, the Lakers need to win, let's just keep it 100, the majority of the remaining games. What you saw last night from this team, confident they can get there, get it done?
Yeah, they don't have an easy schedule. As we broke down on our podcast earlier and on the post-game show last night, Lakers have some tough sledding ahead of them. But I do think they can get to 500, which is all you have to do, in my mind, to get to 10th. Maybe if you're lucky, that'll get you to 9th. If a couple teams that you're not expecting to collapse go ahead and do collapse and tumble down the standings. So can they play 5 over 500 between now and April 9th? I think they can. Got to stay healthy, though, and got to have a nice win streak, like a 5 or 6 game win streak, which they did earlier in the season. Maybe they can do it again.
So from the offense to the defense, we haven't seen the interior defensive intensity that I think we saw last night. You talk about that energy. And obviously, when Anthony Davis is on the floor, it certainly makes a big difference. And he's someone that you felt is now back to the AD before the injury.
AD is the anchor of the Lakers defense. And I think there was a bit of concern with the new guys they brought in because obviously D'Angelo isn't a defensive juggernaut. Obviously Beasley is not a defensive juggernaut, but Vanderbilt is. And him playing alongside AD, that interior defense looked really good. If AD can keep up that intensity, if AD can stay healthy, and obviously Vanderbilt can do what he does and crash the boards and run the court, they could actually be a good defensive team as well.
And Mo Bamba, maybe not 6 fouls every game, Brett, but nonetheless, his impact, something that they can sustain?
Yeah, he absolutely will be a breath of fresh air every time he comes in the game. I like that left-handed block right there. Just kind of like the offhand block. That was not offhand right there. That was in your face. And hit a little chase down from Jared Vanderbilt. Yeah, back to Bamba. Yeah, he fouled out. That wasn't good. He was 0 for 5 from three-point range. That wasn't good. But I like his hustle right there. Plays like that, kind of rerouting the ball on a couple of those shots. So I like what he can do. Rim protection. Not a huge rebounder, never has been, but if he can stick a couple threes, get a couple block shots every game, Lakers will love it.
Let's talk a little more. Anthony Davis, the defensive anchor AD, not only had a good defensive game, but he had one of his most efficient games since returning to the lineup, and certainly his best game in the paint, absolutely. And Davis's 28 points versus New Orleans, 20 of those came from inside, where he was 10 for 12. Overall, he shot 77% from the field. I think this is what you were touching on, just that impact, Melissa, in that AD that we are accustomed to seeing, and certainly what we need to see here down the stretch.
Definitely. And the thing is, LeBron has been complaining all season long that there's no shooters on this team. So having shooters makes LeBron's and AD's jobs so much easier. It spreads the court. It means AD is going to get more looks. It means LeBron's going to get more looks. And when AD is playing dominant like this on both ends of the court, it's pretty dang hard to stop him.
I also want to add, too, when LeBron is on the court next to Anthony Davis, and now you've got these pieces, but just LeBron alone being out there. Brez, when you look at the last handful of games of AD and that lack of efficiency, if you will, before last night, certainly helped.
Well, defenses were stacked to stop AD. Especially that Portland game, you could sense his frustration. They barely went out and covered the shooters. They just kind of packed down on AD, made him try a lot of fall away shots, a lot of fadeaway on the baseline type of action. And I like to see him going towards the bucket. Hey, there's plenty of room for fadeaways. LeBron is a master of it. Kobe picked it up a lot towards the end of his career. But for AD, just attack the basket. And we saw a lot of that last night. Why? Lakers had a couple extra shooters in the starting five, kind of made that defense play a lot more honest on the perimeter, gave AD more room to roam down low.
Good stuff, guys. Ahead on Access Sportsnet, Lakers D-Fish sat down with Brez for a deep dive into the Lakers' big win. And hear what he had to say about the sharpshooter D-Lo. But first, we've got top plays from Wednesday.